Sadhguru Nath Maharaj Ki Jai, and welcome to Jagadambe Reads the Holy Books of India, Ramayana276. As you may remember, Hanuman had found a garden, and he was hopeful Sita was going to be there. The ponds had banks covered with white sand, and the steps leading to them were carved exquisitely. The garden had been designed by Vishvakarma. He went on with his search. He came to the shade of a shimshupa tree. Its branches were hanging low, and it was surrounded by several creepers. And under it was erected a small platform, richly carved. Hanuman climbed onto the shimshupa tree and decided to stay there. It concealed his small frame, and from its top he could see quite far. Expecting to see Sita, Hanuman sat on the tree well concealed by leaves and branches. His eyes were trained to the ground, and he was waiting for Sita to appear. He sat patiently waiting for the night to pass. 5. Hanuman sees Sita. Hanuman thought to himself, maybe Sita, who has her mind set on Rama, and who is mourning this separation from him, will come to this garden. This Ashokavana is beautiful. Perhaps Sita's steps will lead her toward this tree. I have been told by Rama that she is extremely fond of trees and flowering shrubs and waterfalls. This garden seems to be made just for her. She is sure to find a kind of comfort in these surroundings. This river has very sweet, clear water, and most probably Sita will come here to touch the water and worship the sun at dawn. If she is alive, I'm sure this is the place where she is. And I'm certain that she will come to this riverbank sooner or later. The garden was like Indra's Nandana or Kubera's Chaitra. It was more beautiful than any heavenly garden. In the light of the moon, the garden looked like the sky, and the flowers were like the many stars, which pierced the dark night with their bright rays. It was like Gandhamadana, laden with intoxicating perfume, which was heavenly. He cast his eyes around, and nearby was a beautiful temple-like edifice. It had many white pillars which supported it, and it was white like the Kailasa peak. The steps leading to it were of coral, and the surface was covered with molten gold. The eyes were dazzled by the brilliance of the little temple. Hanuman was intrigued by it, and he looked closer, and then he saw her. He saw a woman who was like the thin crescent at the beginning of the brighter fortnight. She was extremely thin, and it was clear that she had been fasting endlessly. Sighs escaped her, and several hideous-looking Rakshasis surrounded her. She was beautiful, and her beauty had been dimmed by her sorrow, like fire is hidden by the clouds of smoke enveloping it. She was draped in a crumpled piece of silk, yellow in color. Dust had found place all over her body, and she seemed not to care. She had spurned all ornaments. She was white like a lotus stalk which had wilted. She had been grieving for long, and she looked like the star Rohini which had been swallowed by Angaraka. Tears were flowing from her eyes, and she was a picture of despair, this woman with the sad eyes. Thin and weak due to her incessant fasting, she looked frightened, thoughtful, and unhappy. Constant sorrow seemed to have worked havoc on her, and surrounded as she was by Rakshasis, she could not find a single soul to take pity on her. She had been forcibly parted from her dear ones, and like a deer in the midst of hounds, she looked helpless and lonely. Sadhguru Nath Maharaj Ki Jai. Thank you for coming. I hope you come again.